people gather round, feel the love compound. Blue elephant is strong, together we belong.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So Lisa very kindly sent me some happy mail, and she sent me a brand new silicone mat. This one you can actually unroll and make it the length that you need it, which is amazing. So once I destroy these mats, I can play with this one and have one set up the exact length, width of my table and not have to have two joining like you see here. Anyway, thank you again, Lisa. I really greatly appreciate it. On today's project, we are going to make a vase. Now, we're not going to make a vase. We're going to... You'll see. But the first thing I want to do is, there's some things that I want to add on to this vase that we're going to do that you have no idea, but it's fine. I'm going to use the mix to mold eco casting powder, and I know you're supposed to weigh it. It's like 10 to 3 or something like that. But once you kind of work with it, you kind of know the consistency of it. And I don't want to tell you not to weigh it like you're supposed to, because if you get it wrong, you can definitely kind of mess up not the stability of it, but the hardness of it and make it too fragile if you add too much water or whatever. So I'm not going to recommend not doing it. I'm just not going to, but it's going to be fine. So I mixed up what I needed. I have these molds. Now, most of them are like your fondant and chocolate molds, but it'll be great. I need some small pieces, and I'm kind of going along the floral route with this. I do have one that has some birds in it, which I thought would be kind of cool. Now, we're gonna end up not using all of this, but I wasn't entirely sure what we were gonna use, what we're not gonna use, so I'm just gonna make it up and everything's gonna be fine. So I did make sure on my deeper molds and the more detailed ones that I poured a little bit in it, kind of let it settle a little bit, and went around with my micro brush just to kind of get it into all of the grooves, spread it out. Now, if you've not worked with any kind of eco powders before, they do not self-level, so you do need to kind of make them, whether it be by kind of shaking them around, taking a tool of some sort like a micro brush or one of your dotting tools or silicone tools and moving that around. You don't have a super long work time before it starts to thicken to the point to where you can't do it and you're going to get a lot of air bubbles. It also, it doesn't self-degas. It will to an extent, but not really. So you really need to shake those bubbles out. Now, it typically cures within 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how thick your piece is. Your thinner pieces, your more that have maybe super thin, or they have a lot of detail or very small parts on them, I would recommend waiting to demold them a little longer. I probably waited a couple of hours before I demolded these because a lot of my pieces are very thin and I didn't want to break them. It is still very fragile at this point, and they can be broken demolding very easily. Now, as you saw when I was pouring it, I did take a craft stick and kind of went over the top of a lot of these to kind of smooth out the overpour and kind of move it into any empty spaces that I had. And that stuff will come off of your mold very easily. And any kind of overpour that you get around the edges, typically if you demold these on the earlier side while it is still soft before that 24-hour mark, it's soft enough that you can pretty much just break it off with your fingernail. You can also, to get in between little areas, you can use a craft blade, which is how I cleaned them up. I cut it out of this video simply because of time. I didn't want to make this video too long because there's going to be a lot of steps to what I'm doing. So I am showing the demold kind of rush through. We're going to get a better look at each one of these pieces here in a little while. I just kind of wanted to show you the overall kind of basics of it. But it does, before that 24-hour point, it is very fragile and it can break very easily. So you do want to be careful. Now, what I did is after I demolded all of these, I set them back on top of my mold. You can use a cookie cooling sheet as long as you're not using it for food afterwards. Let it set and completely dry out for 24 hours before you seal them, before you paint them, before you do anything else with them. You need to give them that 24 hours so that all the moisture comes out of them and they become really hard. All right, so this is the vase that I'm using, and I decided that I didn't want it to just be clear. I'm going to paint it. So I went over it first with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and I am just taking, it's by Folk Art, I believe. It's called like Dragon Flash or something like that. It's kind of like a color shifting paint. And I'm taking my sponge and I'm going over the entirety of this vase. I don't want it, like I said, I don't want it clear. I don't want it see-through. We're going to be painting these pieces and putting them onto this later on. So I kind of just want it to be like a green and white background. We'll get to the white here in a little bit, just to kind of mimic like the ground and the sky, if that makes sense. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going through with some acrylic paints, and I'm going to paint the ones that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to kind of let you watch the process of this, and I'm going to come back when we're ready for the next step.
Morning breaks, the skies are clear, petals open, wings appear. In the hush of dawn's embrace, life is whispering in this place. Flowers bloom where dreams reside, birds sing songs where hopes collide. Nature's symphony so rare, magic lingers everywhere. Daffodils, they sway and dance, robins perch on dusty lands. In the fields where sunlight spills, heartfelt tunes the meadow fills. Flowers bloom where dreams reside, birds sing songs where hopes collide. Nature's symphony so rare, magic lingers everywhere. Daisies whisper secrets true, eagles stretch against the blue. In this world of green and gold, every story's gently told. Blooming violets wild and sweet, hummingbirds in rhythm beat. In the garden's quiet hymn, every second feels so dim. Violets wild and sweet, hummingbirds in rhythm beat. In the garden's quiet hymn, every second feels so dim. Tell ancient tales where rabbits hop through ferns and vines, owls hoot soft in twilight valleys, and foxes dance in moonlit signs. Streams that sing their secret song beneath the shade where they glide. Their cubs wander all day long, nature's wonders far and wide. In the heart of woods we find magic in every leaf and stone. Nature's creatures so entwined in this place we call our own. Deer graze lightly in the glen, squirrels scurry up the tree, butterflies with colors blend in a natural jubilee. Sunlight filters through the green, casting spells on all it needs. Mossy carpets, soft and clean, cradling woodlands, rhythmic beats, shifting shadows play their tricks. Breezes whisper secrets bold, tales and legends mix and mix. Every moment life unfolds.
Okay, so finishing up the last little bit of the pieces that I'm gonna do. The rest of them I'm just gonna put off to the side and maybe I'll use them at a later date, but not for this project. Now it's time for the white. My green is completely dried. Now I'm going over, it's kind of the same type of paint, acrylic paint, as the Dragon Flash. It's more of a creamy, metallic-y kind of white. I believe it's by Folk Art also. And I'm just kind of sponging it onto the top portion of this vase and kind of doing like an ombre where it's going to fade somewhat into the green. So I'm not necessarily worried about it being 100% perfect or even or any of that. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, now all my paint has dried on these pieces, and now I'm going to seal them with Mix to Mold's gloss sealer. And I'm just going to take a paintbrush and kind of dip it into here and go over each one of these pieces. I'm only doing the front side where I painted. The back side, it's not going to matter. It's not going to be seen. And I'm just going to go over them really, really well with this. So they have that glossy look. So they're all sealed in simply because it's going to be a vase. So if I decide that I'm actually later on at some point going to put real flowers in there, which my husband buys me flowers a lot, so I can see that happening, these pieces are sealed and I don't need to worry if water gets on them. Does that make sense? So we're going to go ahead, go over each one of these, and then I'm going to let them dry, and then we're going to start kind of assembling this. Now, I realize that these are hard pieces, right? There's no flex to them. They're not going to bend. And what I am gluing them onto is not a flat piece. It is rounded. So there are going to be areas on these that are not going to be 100% down on top of this. And that's fine. I don't have a bunch of little kids that I have to worry about playing with them or it breaking. It's going to be put up to where it can't be reached. I want it very 3D, and I'm okay if it hangs off a little bit on the sides. I am going to put it on as best I can to kind of make it so that it doesn't really look like it's coming off. But if it does, it's fine. It's not a big deal. So now I'm just going to kind of play around with placement on these. And because I'm using E6000, and yes, it does bond fairly quickly, but not quick enough for me to be able to go all the way around this piece and do it all at one time. I actually am taking my time, and I'm going to let each side cure for 24 hours before I move it and do the next side. So this way I don't have to worry about them moving and shifting or any of that and getting glued into a place that I don't want them, because I am being very particular about the placement on these. And yeah, I mean, does it take longer? Yeah, it took me days to do this, just this part alone. But that's the way that I feel that it will be best to be done. I mean, I could have used another glue, but I didn't want to. I feel like the bond with the E6000 is probably better than any of the other ones that I could use, so that's what we're going with. And I'm just going to put a little bit on the back. I'm going to get it close to the edge, but I'm more focused on the middle point because, like I said, the edges could very easily be sticking off. So I don't want to just go around the edge to where I might not glue it on at all, and that would just be a waste of glue and all of that. And gonna put them down, get them in place, make sure that it's where I want them, and then I'm just gonna let this sit and cure for 24 hours, and then I'll come back to do the next side. While I go through this process, I'm just gonna put on some music for you guys, and then I will be back when we're ready for the next steps.
Dances on the leaves in the breeze. Birds sing their secrets among ancient trees. Flowers bloom with colors so wild and free. Oh, the world whispers its beauty to me. A river flows with rhythm so pure and sweet. Mountains stand tall where the sky and land meet. Meadows where the wildflowers compete. Oh, the world beats its heart beneath our feet. Hearts are lifted by the songs of the birds. Nature speaks without needing words. Beauty found in each whisper and hum. A symphony of life in every strum. Butterflies float on gentle summer sighs. Stars that glimmer in the velvet night skies. Morning dew that sparkles as it dries. Oh, the world reveals its wonders to our eyes. Whispers of wind through pine and oak. The scent of earth in the skies evoked. In the heart of nature, love is stoked. Oh, the world with its tales and songs bespoke. Hearts are lifted by the songs of the birds. Nature speaks without needing words. Beauty found in each whisper and hum. A symphony of life.
Okay, last little bit that needs to get done, and we're just about there. So we're gonna finish this up real quick. Now, of course, because like I said, I was trying to do this all and take my time and do it 24 hours. Well, I got behind because, of course, anytime I'm behind, stuff happens. And I rushed it, right? And I didn't wait 24 hours on one of them. And the stupid flowers slid. And yeah, so now my spacing's all off. But it is what it is. Anyway, so that's all done. It's all dry. I decided that I want something just to kind of sparkle up the bottom and the top. So we're doing rhinestones. Now, these rhinestones are the ones, they're the clear, but they're the ones that, instead of like the crystal ones that are just kind of white and whatever, these ones cast off the colors. And I thought that the colors like really went with the colors of the overall piece. So I thought that this would be like the best kind of looking for what I've got going on. So I just took some of my diamond glaze and a silicone tool and put it along the edge of the bottom part of my vase. Now, I'm going to use two different sizes, mainly because I don't have enough of this bigger size to go all the way along the bottom and the top. So I am doing a slightly bigger size on the bottom and then one step smaller on the top, and it is what it is. I mean, it's not a huge deal. Honestly, I don't even know that you can necessarily tell, but it's just to kind of bling it up a little bit and add some more added interest to this piece. And I'm trying to make them as straight as possible, which is a lot harder than it looks. Yeah, you'd think that you have a line to follow, and I really didn't on the bottom. The top part wasn't too bad because it has like a little kind of where it bubbles out a little bit on the very top, so I could kind of follow along that line. Bottom, not so much because of the way it goes in, but it's fine. It'll be fine. Anyway, I'm just going to go through this real quick, and then I am going to come back when we are ready to wrap up.
Whispering pines tell ancient tales where rabbits hop through ferns and vines. Owls hoot soft in twilight valleys, and foxes dance in moonlit signs. Streams that sing their secret song beneath the shade where they glide.
Okay, I'm back. So I did do this over the course of 2 days. I did half of it one day, came back, let it make sure it was completely dry so I didn't have rhinestones running all over the place. And then I came back and I finished the second half the next day. And that's pretty much it. I think it turned out really, really cool. I have not seen a vase like this before. So all in all, I'm fairly pleased on how it turned out. Now, you do need to be careful if you do something like this, as it's laying on its side with all of these pieces here. I mean, honestly, it may be more ideal to do it opposite and do the rhinestones first, if that's what you want to do, and then glue on your pieces. Just because of the fact that I broke a tiny little piece off of my flower, because you want to put your weight, your hand down on the vase, and then it pushes on those pieces that aren't fully, because it's not flat. So yeah, I did break off a little piece of the flower and then a little piece of the tree branch on one of the top flower sets. You can't really tell, and all I need to do on the one is just add a little bit of brown to the outer edge of it where it busted off. But honestly, that's it. I do have a question for you guys though. Because of the whole stupid TikTok ban in the United States, apparently my editing software, which I use CapCut normally, it is part of TikTok and it was banned too. So I am editing this on a new software that I've never used before. So let me know what you guys think of the quality of the video and all of that stuff and the sound, so that I know whether I should continue to use this until they figure stuff out, or if I should shop around for another one. Well, guys, that's a wrap on this one. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. I will see you on Thursday in the next one. Love ya. Bye.
Elephant is strong. Together we belong. In every comment right, you lift me to new heights. Your support, it's clear, gives me reason to cheer. Blue elephant crew, this one's all for you. You make dreams come true with everything you do. Each subscriber's heart playing a vital part. Videos we share, showing how much we care.